Lecture 8. Sell assets, record sell trades, and close the investment project. In this lecture, you will see how sell trades surface and how they are recorded in the trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheet. We will also close the investment project. This MACD_line and signal view in the TradingView charting platform is different from when we saw it in the last lecture. The buy date now has a black vertical line. The buy price now has a black horizontal price line. The long-term flexible target price now has a green horizontal price line. You will need to draw these lines for the assets you have purchased and the assets you are watching in this simulation. Adding these lines to one's MACD_line and signal view is easy. At left, near the top, see the yellow arrow? It points to the line drawing tool in TradingView. The line drawing tool defaults to trend line, a straight line at a 45-degree angle. When one hovers one's pointer on the trend line icon, an arrow character appears on the right side of the trend line icon box for trend line tools. Horizontal line and vertical line are two tools on that list. Click Horizontal line. Move the cursor into the graph area. Align the cursor with the stock price at right. Click the graph and the line will appear. When one selects the vertical line, move the cursor into the graph area. Align the cursor with a date at bottom. Click the graph and the line will appear. Right-click on a line created. Choose Settings to make modifications. One can also highlight a line and move it. If in 2022 or any different year, the crypto anticipated appreciation may be smaller than 50%, that would bring the black buy price line and the green target price line closer together. To make more vertical space, we can make our price history graph taller by placing our cursor on the horizontal axis of the volume bars and drag the graph down to make it taller. However, that would also make the MACD oscillator shorter. This is the MACD_line and signal view for NVIDIA. Under the price history line, the 12-period exponential moving average, and the 26-period EMA curves, look at the green and red volume bars. We said E was an earnings indicator. Specifically, it is the earnings release date or earnings announcement date. D was a dividends indicator. There are 4 dates for dividends. Which one is it specifically? There is 1, the dividends announcement date, approximately 15 days before the date on the graph. 2, the ex-dividend date without the upcoming dividend, which is for the past quarter anyway. 3, the record date, the day after the ex-dividend date, which may serve as a settlement date for stocks purchased on the ex-dividend date. And 4, the pay date, approximately 2 weeks later. So D indicates the ex-dividend date. If you do not see at least the earnings release event indicators, right-click above the price line and go to Settings. There, you will see the list Symbol, Status Line, Scales, Appearance, Trading, and Events. Click Events. Click Earnings on Chart. I am going back to Lecture 4. Track Stock Selection Criteria Performance over Time, which was our second pass at fundamental research for stocks. I'm opening the Excel file Stock Data Trends. Between dividends and sales revenue, a quarterly earnings per share and revenue section is being added, and data for Amazon and Nvidia are being added, beginning with the first earnings report after the June 1st buy date for each of the two. Amazon and Nvidia did not have earnings releases on the same day. We are tracking quarterly earnings releases because reported earnings versus earnings estimates have a bearing on stock prices and may even have an effect on stock prices. A company that makes or misses estimates significantly, especially in 2 or more consecutive quarters, that company and those who have bought its stock could find stock price movement and even a price trend resulting from that data point. From Nvidia's TradingView price history graph at August 18, 2021, its first earnings report after the June 1st buy date, click the letter E for earnings. When you do that, see the box of information above the yellow arrow. It gives you an earnings and revenue box with the information that we need. In Excel, I entered the quarterly earnings per share (EPS) estimate and reported. Then I held down the Alt key and pressed Enter to then enter the quarterly revenue, which would be the quarterly earnings. Each entry has an estimate and reported earnings set of figures and an estimate and reported earnings per share set of figures. To miss either gets an orange highlight. To miss both gets a dark orange highlight. To beat either the EPS or the revenue set of figures gets a light green highlight. As shown with Nvidia, to beat both gets a dark green highlight. If reported figures are higher than estimates, the reported text is bold, signifying reported figures beat estimate figures. If consensus estimates are higher than reported figures, the estimate text is bold, signifying the company missed one or both estimates. Later, you will see that the downloadable resource file for this lecture's assignment is recordtrades_and_MACD, an Excel spreadsheet. The first tab is Stock Data Trends _VER2 for version 2. The first 2 quarters have entries. Using the TradingView.com site, you have to fill in the entries for February 3rd, 2022 for Amazon and February 16th, 2022 for Nvidia. You may enter rows for earnings announcements after those dates. Nvidia's earnings announcements. See the yellow arrows. August 18th and November 17th, 2021, Nvidia beat earnings and EPS estimates. Prices rose the day after. That didn't happen on February 16th, 2022, because the whole market was down due to the political risk involving Ukraine and Russia. Amazon's earnings announcements. For July 29th, 2021, the first yellow arrow, Amazon did not beat its earnings estimate. Look at the price drop. And it continued to drop until August 19th. For October 28th, 2021, Amazon again missed its earnings estimates. There is a price drop the next day and a little more the day after that. For February 3rd, 2022, for a third time, Amazon's earnings came in below estimates. The market must have anticipated the miss because look at how the price dropped to approximately $2,770 a few days before the earnings announcement. It then moves up for 3 days, but on earnings announcement day falls back down to approximately $2,770, with earnings not announced during that day before the market closed, but earnings were not announced until after the market hours. It did recover, but July 8th, 2021 to February 18th, 2022, the trend is down. And for our simulation, the price is below our buy price. 2 consecutive earnings misses is not good, and a third is worse. We have 5 trades: NVIDIA, Amazon, Ethereum, Polkadot, and Bitcoin. Amazon may be our losing trade, bringing our investors' win rate down to 4 out of 5, or 80%. Traders, as opposed to investors, do have more than 5 positions in a year. 51% to 70% is a good win rate for them. In conclusion, plan sell trades to avoid 2 days before and 2 days after the earnings announcement date, especially if the news for the company that quarter was negative or inconclusive about earnings. When we were tracking our 5 assets with an update on prices since their buy date, a question asked was, is the current price appreciation greater than the flexible target price percentage? If the answer were yes, there was a note to go to the Let It Ride to the Peak of the MACD Curve reference sheet. By reaching the higher of the 2 price targets in our investment project purpose and procedures document, we have met our objective. As a control on time spent on investment projects, we could stop and sell. We're not sponsored to do more than that. What we are allowed to do by way of exceeding expectations is to complete the project ahead of time and under budget. However, we will let a tool of technical analysis, the MACD oscillator, help us put the finishing touches on our sell trade at or above our target prices. And this step needs to be added to our investment project purpose and procedures document. The MACD oscillator will help us with our sell trades, and we will use that TA tool on this reference sheet, the Let Winners Ride to the Peak of the MACD Curve reference sheet. We will test the readiness to sell if an asset price has made it to our highest price appreciation target, the long-term target. The exception is when an asset price cannot make it that far, but has made it to the short-term target. With a date of February 19th, 2022, it is months before June 2nd, 2022, so we do not have to test that scenario today. Today, we will look for sell trade surfacings at the long-term target prices of our assets and watch list items. In TradingView, at the top left, we see the name of the asset, NVIDIA Corporation. We see 1D, which means we are looking at a daily chart. We see the exchange NASDAQ. We are going to stop here for a moment. Each crypto exchange does not always have the same information because the exchange could be Bitfinex Kraken, Coinbase, Binance, and others. For example, an exchange may not list a cryptocurrency on the same date another exchange does. Coinbase listed Solana after Bitfinex listed it. This is why the Solana price history starts later on Coinbase than on Bitfinex. Be careful and consistent when bringing up crypto price history at exchanges for your charts. This also would be a reason to open one's crypto account at an exchange whose number of coins is greater than 50. Robinhood with 7 coins and BlockFi with 6 coins and 4 stable coins do not appear on CoinMarketCap's list of crypto exchanges. They probably are exchange platforms and not primary exchanges. Tastyworks Brokerage offers 25 coins to clients, but Tastyworks is not an exchange. On TradingView.com, you will not see Robinhood, BlockFi, or Tastyworks listed as an exchange. Crypto.com exchange with 178 coins, Coinbase exchange with 160 coins, Kraken with 130 coins, and Gemini with 83 coins do appear on CoinMarketCap's list of crypto exchanges. After the exchange, there is the name of the platform, TradingView. Then there is an icon indicating whether or not the market is open. The number after that is the closing price for the day. It shows neither the open, the high, nor the low. To our MACD_line and signal view, we have to bring necessary clutter by making an adjustment. The price history line was constructed of closing prices. The MACD reference sheet needs low prices. To see low prices, the price history will have to be cluttered with high and open prices as well as close and low prices by changing the graph type from line to candles. On the slide, see the yellow arrow at top left. It points to a price history line icon. In TradingView, click that icon, then click Candles. Where there was one price, only the closing price, now we can see the 4 prices that make up a market activity candle. At the top of the price history graph, left of center, I have placed a yellow bar. Above it are the open, high, low, and close prices. Now we will test if selling the assets on those dates is the correct course of action. Before we do that, an explanation is needed for the type of trades used when the assets were bought and the type of trades used when the assets were sold. Technical analysis fine-tuning is being used to exit positions. All assets must not be held until June 2nd, 2022 and sold then. Second, there's a strong possibility that we will not close positions exactly when the highest target price is reached before June 2nd, 2022. At target reached, we will finesse our closed position trades with technical analysis. The type of order that will be used for the sell trades will then be a limit order. A market order buys or sells an asset immediately at the current price. A limit order buys or sells an asset at a specified price or better. Technical analysis fine-tuning was not used when I decided all buy trades would be done on June 1st, 2021. The order type used then was market order. After the sell date has been determined and the limit order sell trade executed, we will record the sale. On the Trading Targeting Tracking Excel file, I've added a set of buy and sell rows for the Solana watchlist item and numbered the rows W1 and W2. I've also added a set of buy and sell rows for the Polygon watchlist item and numbered those rows W3 and W4. Your combined asset list and watchlist might differ from this in-class version. Next, I copied the open positions and pasted them below the original, leaving an empty row. The heading of the original rows was changed from open positions to closed positions because the sales we will record will be closed positions. Looking for sell trade surfacings as of February 19th, 2022. The Let It Ride to the Peak of the MACD Curve reference sheet. In the third column, long-term flexible target price reached date, highlighted in green in ascending chronological order, are the 5 of 7 items that have surfaced for sell trades, or for a watch list item for an illustration of price performance. NVIDIA on June 28th, Solana on August 15th, Polkadot on September 5th, Bitcoin on October 6th, Ethereum on October 20th, all in 2021. We bought NVIDIA June 1st, 2021. See the black vertical line. We bought it at a price of $163. See the black horizontal line. The 55% flexible target appreciation price is $198.86. See the green horizontal line. June 28th, NVIDIA traded in a low to high range that included $198.86. Is this target date clear of an analyst downgrading to sell or downgrade to bearish? Answer, yes. The stock has not recently been downgraded to sell or to bearish. Is the target date reached clear of earnings announcements? This is a question for stocks. At this time or at no time soon, not for cryptocurrencies. Answer, the stock is not in an earnings announcement window. It is clear of that window of surprises, a positive surprise or a negative surprise. Should the position be closed with a limit order at $198.86, or let this winner ride to the peak of its MACD curve? My answer is, I do not want to sell this stock in less than 30 days, especially since I am not a trader but an investor who holds an asset longer than a trader does. I want to select assets, buy them, and have some weeks away from the markets for other matters: career, personal life, family life, other matters of personal finance. I just bought NVIDIA on June 1st and do not want to, on June 28th, go into selling mode. If it hit the long-term goal in less than a month, it probably can do better than that in the next 11 months. I will revisit this stock in 4 to 7 months. Fourth month, October 1st. It is above the target appreciation price, but the MACD is below the signal line and both are negative. Let's wait and see if the MACD curve crosses above the signal line and the zero line. Fifth month, November 1st. When we check, we see that the MACD curve is positive, It is above the signal line and the price is above the flexible target appreciation price. This new long-term flexible target price reached date is added on a second row. Now we can ride the MACD curve to its peak. C. Enter the value of the MACD line from the y-axis on the right side of the MACD graph. It is 10.38. D. On November 1st, the MACD curve visually has not stepped down. Enter no. It is riding up. When it does step down, we know the peak date is the day before and that day's MACD value by looking at the y-axis on the right side of the screen in TradingView. E. Enter the MACD peak date, Thursday, November 11th, 2021, and the MACD peak value, 22.97. When the MACD curve has stepped down from its ascent, then we are in the window of selling opportunity. F. In the next three columns, enter the next day's step down date, Friday, November 12th, 2021, MACD value, 22.55, and from the top of the price history graph, the low price. It is the third of the four prices, $303.90. The step down MACD value should naturally be less than the MACD peak value. The low price, $303.90, is higher than the flexible target price of $198.86. G. Enter the date of the following stock market business day. The MACD peak date +2, Monday, November 15th, 2021. This will be the sell date when a limit order at open will be placed at the low price of the prior day, $303.90. H. The limit order sell trade might execute at the opening price of $305.52, higher and better than the prior day's low in the limit order. I. There are two more columns for data. The date when the MACD line and its signal line intersect, November 26, 2021, and the value at that crossing, 21.08. There, the green histogram bars are flat, showing there is no more 12 EMA, 26 EMA divergence, strengthening the upward price trend. Investopedia explains, and I quote, "Traders use the MACD's histogram to identify when bullish or bearish momentum is high." End quote. So, at the MACD line signal line intersection crossing, the uptrend ride has stalled according to the MACD oscillator. After the stall, it may go back up or it may go down, crossing below the signal line. NVIDIA's record of sale. Details of the sell trade have been brought down into the trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheet. See the NVIDIA sell trade of November 15th, 2021, below the buy trade of June 1st, 2021. We have closed out our position, so the number of shares, 23, remains the same. We used the price from our trade confirmation from our brokerage firm or from our exchange. The number of shares multiplied by price equals the value of the sale, $7,026.96, shown on the sell trade row in the USD equivalent principal column. Instead of a return on an investment of 22%, The return was 87%. Because the sell trade was made before June 2nd, 2022, we have a short-term capital gain for tax purposes. Solana is being watched from June 1st, 2021, as are all of our items. See the black vertical line. Its price then was $31. See the black horizontal line. The 55% flexible target appreciation price is $48.05. See the green horizontal line. August 15th, 2021, Solana traded in a low to high range that included $48.05. Question: if this were an asset instead of a watch list item, should the position be closed with a limit order at $48.05, or let this winner ride to a peak of its MACD curve? Solana's MACD record. Look at the MACD curve at the date when the asset price is in range of the target. A, the MACD line, is greater than the zero line. We entered yes for A. The MACD line is greater than the signal line. On the reference sheet in the next column, we entered yes for B. C, enter the value of the MACD line. See the value on the y-axis on the right side of the MACD graph. It was 3.862. D, on August 15th, the MACD curve visually had not stepped down. We entered no, it is riding up. When it does step down, we know E, the peak date, Friday, September 10th, is the day before the step down date, unless there is a multiple day peak or a multiple day step down. The MACD peak value is 32.676. When the MACD curve has stepped down from its ascent, then we are in the window of selling opportunity. F, for the step down date, enter Saturday, September 11th, 2021, and enter the MACD value of 31.41. The step down MACD value should, of course, be less than the MACD peak value. For that step down day, moving up from the MACD curve to the price history curve of candles, enter the low price of $175.57. Is it higher than the flexible target price of $48.05? Yes, it is. G, enter the date of the third day. Peak date +2, Sunday, September 12th, 2021, which will be the sell date when a limit order is placed at the low price in the prior column. H, enter the sell price executed for the limit order sell trade. It likely will be the market's open price, $179.23, since our limit order was the prior day's close price to be executed at the open. However, we are dealing with the crypto market, so the distinction between close and open is maybe 1 second. But for the sake of argument, we're using the market open price of $179.23. There are 2 more columns for data. The date when the MACD line and its signal line intersect, Monday, September 13th, and the value at that crossing, 28.407. Record of performance for watch list item Solana. Details of the price appreciation for the watch list item Solana has been brought down into the trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheet. See the partial sell trade information of August 15th, 2021, which only was a hypothetical close position sell trade of a watch list item. Instead of a return on an investment in Solana of 55%, the return was 478%. Because the hypothetical position closed before June 2nd, 2022, we would have had a short-term capital gain for tax purposes. We bought Polkadot June 1st, 2021. See the black vertical line. We bought it at a price of $22.24. See the black horizontal line. The 55% flexible target appreciation price is $34.47. See the green horizontal line. September 5th. Polkadot traded in a low to high range that included $34.47. Question: should the position be closed with a limit order at $34.47 or let this winner ride to a peak of its MACD curve? Earlier in the year, Polkadot, ticker symbol DOT, was bought on June 1st, 2021. February 20th, DOT reached a high of $39.70. April 4th, $45.80. May 13th, $47.95. My long-term target, $34.47, is less than those three highs in the first half of 2021 and is less than the lowest, $39.70. The average of $39.70 and $34.47 is approximately $37. So I am thinking of a compromise that pushes the target price from $34.47 to $37 if, big if, there is justification to do so. Dr. Gavin Wood is the creator of Polkadot, a Web3 Foundation protocol. Vitalik Buterin conceived Ethereum, but was a co-founder of Ethereum with others including Dr. Gavin Wood, now with Polkadot. On July 30th, 2021, about a month back from September 4th, Bitcoin.com ran an article about Polkadot. The name of the article was Polkadot, Vitalik's Nightmare or Blockchain Dream Come True. The article said it is likely that Polkadot is set to reach its own next big milestone before Ethereum's merge takes place. That next big milestone for Polkadot, parachain auctions, or the process of awarding the first shard slots on Polkadot, a step that Kusama, ticker symbol KSM, Polkadot's experimental canary network, recently achieved. A shard hosts core logic which can be written in a smart contract. Ethereum's merge is going from proof of work to proof of stake. As of today, Saturday, September 4th, 2021, I can bet anticipation for Polkadot's parachain auctions should help Polkadot recover its uptrend, but Cosmos, ticker symbol ATOM, Atom, is interoperability competition on the horizon. Both Polkadot and Cosmos have a token insight rating of BBB. Cosmos was not a top 30 market cap crypto back in May of 2021 when we were selecting cryptos. So we have qualified justification for moving the price target higher to $37. Checking back in a month, October 4th, the price dropped since September 4th, but October 7th, 3 days later, I got a price alert that Polkadot was in the new flexible target selling range of $37. The long-term flexible target price reach date, Thursday, October 7th, 2021, is added on a second row. Now we can ride to the peak of the MACD curve. Polkadot's MACD record. A. The MACD is above the zero line. B. The MACD is above its signal line. C. The MACD value is 0.4628. D. On October 7th, the MACD had not stepped down. It was riding up to a peak. When it does step down, we know 1. The peak date is the day before, and 2. That day's MACD value. I'm going to skip E for the moment and go to F. Enter the step down date and the MACD value of that day, Sunday, October 24th, and 3.011. The step down MACD value is less than the MACD peak value. Enter the low price for the day, $41.35. Go back to the column with the header E. Enter the MACD peak date, Saturday, October 23rd, and the MACD peak value of 3.0551, which is higher than 3.0111. G. Enter the date of the third market day. Peak date plus 2, Monday, October 25th, which will be the sell date with a limit order placed at the low price of the previous day, $41.35. H. $42.33 is being used as the sell price because Polkadot opened higher and better than the prior day's low. Limit order in action. Next, we have I, the date when the MACD line and its signal line intersect, Tuesday, November 9th, and the value at that crossing, 3.5821, are entered. Polkadot's record of sale. Details of the Polkadot sell trade have been brought down into the trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheet. See the Polkadot sell trade of October 25th, 2021. Instead of a return on an investment in Polkadot of 55%, the return was 90.33%. We planned to make $1,072.50, but we actually made $1,761.49. Because the sell trade was made before June 2nd, 2022, we have a short-term capital gain for tax purposes. We bought Bitcoin June 1st, 2021. See the black vertical line. We bought it at a price of $35,800. See the black horizontal line. The 55% flexible target appreciation price is $55,490. See the green horizontal line. October 6th, 2021, Bitcoin traded in a low to high range that included $55,490. So the question is, should the position be closed with a limit order at $55,490 or let the winner ride to a peak of its MACD curve? Look at the point on the MACD curve for October 6th. A. The MACD line is greater than the zero line. Enter yes on the reference sheet. B. The MACD line is greater than the signal line. Enter yes for that on the reference sheet. C. Enter 2,857.78 as the October 6th value of the MACD line. Bitcoin's MACD record. D. I can see that on Wednesday, October 6th, the MACD curve has not stepped down. All of the green histogram bars are dark green. E. The MACD curve peaked Wednesday, October 20th, 2 weeks later, at a value of 4,348.11. F. The step down from the MACD peak occurred the day after, Thursday, October 21st, at a value of 4,102.88. The step down day's low price was $62,050, higher than the flexible target price of $55,490. G. Friday, October 22nd, is the peak date plus 2, sell date. The sell trade, a limit order, will use the prior day's low price of $62,050. H. The better and higher execution price of $62,204 will be the price I will use for the sales entry. I. The date when the MACD line intersected the signal line was October 23rd, and the MACD value at that intersection was 3,759.56. The green histogram bars are flat then, showing there is no more what? Upward trend strength. Buy low, sell high. I want to sell when there is strength for price elevation, not when there is no strength under the price. Bitcoin's record of sale. Details of the sell trade have been brought down into the trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheet. See the October 22nd Bitcoin sell trade. Instead of a 55% return, there was 73.75% return. Instead of making $715, we made $958.80. Thanks to the use of the MACD oscillator, which put us on track to ride to a peak of Bitcoin's MACD curve. We have a short-term capital gain because the asset was sold before June 2nd, 2022. We bought Ethereum June 1st, 2021 at a price of $3,250. The 55% flexible target appreciation price is $4,095.30. October 20th, Ethereum traded in a low to high range that included that price. Should the position be closed with a limit order at that price, or let this winner ride to a peak of its MACD curve? I think we know what the answer is. Look at the point on the MACD curve for October 20th. A. Yes, the MACD line is greater than the zero line, and B. Yes, the MACD line is greater than the signal line. Ethereum's MACD record. C. The MACD value is 177.43. D. I can see that on Wednesday, October 20th, the MACD curve stepped up. It did not step down. Going into the 20th, the green histogram bars are not that tall, and they are a mixture of dark green and light green. When the MACD curve steps down from its low slope ascent, then we are in the window of selling opportunity. E. The MACD curve peaked Monday, October 25th, but this time, with no reason, I did not mark the peak until the following week, Wednesday, November 3rd, when the MACD value was 248.44. By then, I got with it, alarmed at the low height of the histogram bars, and was grateful the MACD curve picked back up on November 1st to make the November 3rd peak. F. The next day was the step down day, Thursday, November 4th, and the MACD value for that day was 239.56. The low price was $4,423.01, greater than the long-term flexible target price of $4,095.30. G, Friday, November 5th, was the sell date, with a limit order to beat the prior day's low price of $4,423.01. H, it likely executed above that price. I, the MACD line decreased to its signal line again Thursday, November 11th. The value was 239.56. On the following day, Friday, it did not bounce off but continued to cross below, producing dark red histogram bars. Ethereum's record of sale. Details of the sell trade have been brought down into the trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheet. See the Ethereum trade of November 5th, 2021. We have closed out our position, so the fractional shares in the sell trade are the same number of fractional shares in the buy trade. Instead of a 60% return on investment, the return was 75.27%. We planned to make 1,950, so close to 2,000. We broke 2,000 and made $2,446. Because the sell trade was made before June 2nd, 2022, we have a short-term capital gain for tax purposes. The blockchain stocks and cryptos, BS&C, investment portfolio segment has done well. Look at the bottom right of the screen where the yellow arrow is pointing. The last column, actual money made from assets sold. Our $13,000 ventured, rounded up from $12,849, earned us so far $8,444.65, or 65.72%. Not just the $5,134.28 or 39.96% planned. To date, we have made $3,310.37 more than we planned to make in 12 months. We have made 25.76% over plan. The proceeds of the sales to date, $18,693.65, not just the $8,444.65 actual money made, within 10 business days of the settled sale trade, have gone to Crypto.com to earn 10% interest as the stablecoin USD coin, and or to Gemini.com to earn 9% interest as the stablecoin Gemini USD. If those interest rates are still current, and if they even still exist, since the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission regulation stopped BlockFi from paying interest on new crypto accounts in the U.S., putting at risk any crypto platform that pays interest on cryptos in the U.S. In Assignment 6, you are instructed to change the amount invested in blockchain stocks and cryptocurrencies, an amount suitable to your situation. If the amount were $10,000 instead of $13,000, given the 65.72% increase from June 1st to February 19th, the amount made would have been $6,500 instead of $8,400. If the amount ventured were only $5,000 instead of $13,000, given the 65.72% increase from June 1st to February 19th, the amount made would have been $3,286 instead of $8,400. With $20,000 to invest, one would have made $13,100. With $50,000 to invest, one would have made $32,800 instead of $8,400. If one had $100,000 to invest, $65,700 would have been earned instead of $8,400. When one sees the price of Solana had risen more than 400%, June 1st to February 19th, no, even more money could have been made in this simulation if research led us to select it in the 4 weeks before June 1st, and if Solana were available where research led us to open crypto accounts. Nevertheless, there are investors who have captured those price increases. This is from where the term FOMO, fear of missing out, comes. Instead of triple-digit returns to date, not 150%, not 300%, 475% plus. Our attempt resulted in 65%, which is commendable. The term alpha is excess returns above a benchmark. If our benchmark was 30%, with 65%, our alpha would be 35%, doubling the benchmark, and some. With stocks, the S&P 500 is a common benchmark. It returned 26.89% in 2021. Look at the bottom of the USD equivalent principal column. Proceeds from sales to date, $18,693.65, minus assets purchased, $12,849, equals a profit to date of $5,844.65. To date, we have not closed our $2,600 initial Amazon position. $8,444.65 money made so far, minus $5,844.65 profit equals that $2,600. The money we made so far is 65.72%, but our profit so far is 45.49%. By June 2nd, 2022, we need to pitifully break even with Amazon stock to have a profit of 65.72%. The investment project Purpose and Procedures document, the IP PPD, call for the overall investment portfolio's blockchain stocks and cryptocurrencies investment budget line, or portfolio segment, to expire on June 2nd, 2022. 4 of our 5 positions have closed. We are waiting on Amazon to reach 22% appreciation, 12% appreciation, June 2nd, 2022, or an extended date of no more than 3 months beyond June 2nd. When that last trade is made, it would be in order to create a deliverables accepted document for signatures by you, the project manager, and yes, a second signature by you, the sponsor of the investment project. Or maybe you and your spouse, the sponsors of the investment project, where your spouse has let you manage the money. The body of the deliverables accepted document would be the trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheets, closed positions with actual individual and total money made versus planned. The trading, targeting, and tracking spreadsheet will show whether or not the last sell trade closed the investment project ahead of schedule. Below that, insert some rows, type deliverables accepted. Maybe 4 rows below that, allowing room for a signature, format a range of cells with a bottom border, and to the right of that line, type date : and the date. On a row below the signature lines, type the names and titles of the signatories. One will be Investment Project Manager. The other will be Investment Sponsor. Close the project with 1. The accomplishments you are delivering, the deliverables accepted document, but 2. A post-project assessment and lessons learned report, and 3. Future direction with this experience. Post-project assessment and lessons learned document. I would like to assess how the assets were balanced in the BS&C investment segment, including watch list items, and how that balancing of each item compared to their price appreciation percentages. Here are the results. The results tell me we could have gone with a 60% cryptocurrencies, 40% blockchain stocks ratio, and we could have excluded Amazon for not sufficiently fitting the definition of a blockchain stock. Polkadot could have been weighted 5% higher. The selection process did not show Polkadot to be of higher quality and safer than Ethereum. So I do not see Polkadot having a higher weight than Ethereum in this assessment. Then there is the watch list. To date, keeping Polygon off the buy list was a good call. It would have been fortunate had I justified putting Solana on the buy list just at 5%. One lesson I have learned to improve my IP PPD is to improve my rationale for my standard stock forecast of 12% over 12 months as a base target. In the last 2 weeks of December, I usually use Barron's newspaper to find out what their analysts are predicting the year-end S&P 500 change percentage will be, where the S&P will be at the end of the year. I want to bring the 12-month price targets of TipRanks and WalletInvestor.com from the second pass of selecting stocks to the first pass. I want those target percentages, along with the S&P 500 year-end expected percentage increase, to help set the standard stock forecast. A stock or stocks chosen should be expected to have a 12% price appreciation and should outperform the S&P. Stocks in my investment portfolio outside the BS&C segment are held to that standard. Furthermore, analysts' predictions can change during the year, so we must check for changes every 2 months and revise as necessary. Second, there must be a lesson to learn since I missed out on selecting Solana for the buy list, and it went on to appreciate 400% plus. Avalanche had a good run as well, but it too was somewhat invisible in the month of May when I was selecting stocks and cryptos. I'm not a fan of using a minimum investment less than $1,500. If your investable assets were less than $13,000, with this rule in mind, you may have to cut your number of assets from 5 to 4, or from 5 to 3, or from 5 to 2. With $13,000, the amount of money in our investment budget was not large enough to add a sixth asset, using weighted allocations as opposed to equal weight balancing. Sure, $13,000 divided by 6 would have created a $2,100 bet on each chip, with some leeway above $1,500 for weighting. That is one way one could have fought for Solana. Equal weighting a base rank score for long-term risk with the token insight score and the symmetry overall grade score penalizes newer generation crypto projects against older generation cryptos which have put in the time to prove their mettle. It would be erroneous to discount first mover advantage and experience. For smart contract platforms, Ethereum had more history and had earned cachet that Solana had not yet garnered. Ethereum also has more market share wins than Solana has, as we saw in our selection criteria updates. Market sentiment was awarding Solana over Ethereum with more price appreciation growth, not with more market capitalization. Solana did not flip Ethereum. Solana was knocking out EOS, NEO, Tron. It did flip Polkadot. It did flip Cardano, yet from where it was coming, it had to do all that before it could legitimately dethrone Ethereum. Even with Solana flipping market cap rankings with its smart platform competitors, Ethereum's market cap has been and is to date about 10 times that of Solana's market cap. And still, there is how many times Ethereum's market share is over Solana's market share. Just as I would wince at giving more weight to Polkadot than Ethereum, I certainly would wince at giving more weight to Solana than Ethereum. This is a price one is willing to pay when choosing the game of high cap safety, as opposed to the game of small cap or mid cap unknown growth. Another contributing factor to not being compelled to include Solana on the buy list was that Ethereum.org was and is more readable than Solana.com. Wearing the hat of part-time investment researcher, likely less than 20 hours every week, one will find some websites easier to grasp than others. Furthermore, my crypto brokerage exchange selections in May 2021 did not have Solana available for trading, and we talked about that earlier, with Coinbase not having Solana price history, but Bitfinex did. This precluded me from having Solana fully in sight, unless I opened another account on another exchange platform just because it had Solana available for trading. All of this special handling for Solana would have jeopardized due diligence time for other prospective assets, jeopardizing getting the whole project off the ground. Conclusion: Solana was somewhat out of reach, especially at the window of opportunity to select it, which was before June 1st, 2021. There should have been a blockchain stock on the watch list, not just 2 cryptocurrencies. Even so, mining stocks and even Coinbase Global Inc., ticker symbol COIN, COIN, would not have passed our selection criteria filters because they are mid-cap at best. One could counter Square, Block Inc., ticker symbol SQ, and PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL, or large cap companies adopting cryptos. If a blockchain stock had to at least be on the watch list, I probably would have included a mining company. Investor Development Document. Brainstorm developing yourself as an investor. Explore if there are advanced tools, techniques, and resources to supplement the knowledge and experience acquired with this project so you can move beyond being a first-year blockchain stock and crypto analyst investor with assets under management of just $13,000. Can we increase our income so we can increase the assets under management to place in blockchain stocks and cryptocurrencies? While I feel I have a full plate keeping tabs on the top 30 cryptos by market cap, you may want to specialize in the top 40 or top 50. I would like to specialize in the smart contract platform sector. Another person may focus on the stablecoin sector, or may focus on central bank digital currencies when the U.S. puts one into circulation. One may want to focus on centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. Another may want to specialize in interoperability projects only. How about you? Would you want to narrow your scope of blockchain stocks and cryptocurrencies? I have an interest in where crypto scalability is going and how crypto projects meet business case needs. I want to learn more about the market for public smart contract platform services. I want to learn more about how crypto projects become ongoing operations rather than projects, serving governments, businesses, and individuals. Investment Project Repository. Close the investment project with finalizing all project documents before they are carefully filed away for future reference. The 11 documents are: 1. The Investment Project Purpose and Procedures Document, IP-PPD. 2. The Stock Brokerage and the Crypto Brokerage Exchange Selection Document. 3. The Stock Selection and the Cryptocurrency Selection Documents. 4. The Stock Selection Criteria Trends and the Crypto Selection Trends Documents. 5. Research Notes. 6. The Purchase Plan. Reasons for purchasing assets on the want-to-buy sheets and portfolio balancing spreadsheets. 7. The Trading, Targeting, and Tracking Spreadsheet. 8. The Let It Ride to the MACD Peak Reference Sheet. 9. The Deliverables Accepted Document. 10. The Post-Project Assessment and Lessons Learned Document. And 11. The Investor Development Document. Assignment 8. Open the downloadable resource, record trades _and_MACD.XLSX in the assignment instructions. Save this document. Then save it with a personalized file name. For example, record trades _and_MACD_student. Modify it to suit your needs. From the way you completed the assignment for Lecture 7, you may have bought different blockchain stocks and cryptocurrencies. Each holding will need a TradingView price history graph and a MACD graph. Each price history graph will need candlesticks with wicks and earnings announcement indicators. A vertical line at the buy date, a horizontal line at the buy price, and a horizontal line at the target appreciation price are to appear on the graphs. Each position that has been opened will need to be closed, finessed by MACD curve technical analysis before a limit order sell trade is determined, simulated, and recorded. Show how much you actually made in dollars and percent in comparison to how much you plan to make in dollars and percent. This was illustrated in the lecture. Save the file, answer the questions in the assignment section of the course content for Lecture 8. This concludes Lecture 8. Sell assets, record sell trades, and close the investment project. It also concludes Section 4. Finalize the purchase plan, buy, track, and sell assets, and record trades. Section 5, Conclusion, is the final section, and Lecture 9, Summary and Closing Thoughts is the name of the final lecture.